Rachel, or Rachel, was a very beautiful biblical woman who was a shepherdess. She was the youngest daughter of Laban, the sister of Leah, and the favorite wife of Jacob. Her sons were Joseph and Benjamin became one of the 12 tribes of Israel. Although Jacob was Rachel's cousin, he immediately fell in love with her when he first saw her. He announces their kinship to her, and Rachel told her father shortly after that Jacob is Rebekah, his sister's son. When Laban heard this, he invited Jacob into the house to stay with them for a while. After a month of working for Laban, Jacob arranged to work for him for 7 more years in return for his daughter Rachel. The time flew by for Jacob because of how powerful his love for Rachel was. But when the time was completed, Laban substituted Leah for Rachel on the night of Rachel and Jacob's wedding. Laban explained that it was not the custom of their family for their younger daughter to marry first. But when Jacob protested, Laban offered Rachel in addition to Leah in return for another 7 years of work. After 14 years of hard work, Jacob had 2 wives and 2 servants that were all given to him by Laban. Zilpah was Leah's maid, and Bilhah was Rachel's maid. But God saw that Rachel was unloved by Jacob and decided to open her womb and give her 4 sons, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. However, God made Rachel infertile, and this made her very frustrated and jealous. So Rachel gave Bilhah, her maid, to Jacob so that she will get childed through her, basically using her as a surrogate. Her plan worked, and Bilhah gave birth to 2 sons for Rachel, Dan and Naphtali. This competition between the 2 sisters continued as Leah gave her maid Zilpah to Jacob as a surrogate. Leah named the 2 sons Gad and Asher. One day, Leah's son Reuben found mandrakes in the field and gave them to his mother. At the time, a mandrake root was often considered a fertility charm, and therefore Leah wanted some of the mandrakes. Rachel then made an agreement with Leah to trade a night with Jacob in return for the mandrakes. That night, Leah became pregnant with Issachar, Zebulun, and Dinah. Thankfully, then God listened to Rachel's suffering and she gave birth to Joseph. But Jacob decided that he wanted to return to his birthplace, the land of Canaan, and he wanted to take his wives and children with him, so he spoke to Laban. Rachel and Leah discussed their anger towards Laban with one another, who never gave them any of the wealth earned by Jacob's 14 years of work for them. So, the family leaves Laban behind and heads for the land of Canaan. But Rachel alone takes action. She steals her father's teraphim, which are his household gods. So Laban comes looking for the teraphim, and unaware of what Rachel has done, Jacob takes an oath that says that anyone that has the gods will not live. At this point, Rachel is in danger. Rachel hid them in her camel's saddle, sits on the saddle, and declines to rise when her father comes in to look for the teraphim. She claims that she is menstruating and wholeheartedly deceives her father. Shortly after, finally fertile, Rachel dies while giving birth to her second son Benjamin. Jacob buries her in her own tomb, and not in the ancestral tomb of Machpelah. Her tomb remains as a landmark and as a testimony to her to this day. As you can see, Rachel is celebrated as a very important ancestor and biblical woman for the people of Israel.